What the to get him more.
At a restaurant, UFC president Dana White gifts a YouTuber this.
No. Holy.
You know what it is? It's a giant bag of money.
Holy. Back to Tootsie's? That's
Happy birthday. You're welcome.
As Dana laughs, the numbers came in. $250,000 for this guy's birthday. He hosts the Full Send podcast, which courts alt-right figures like Donald Trump Jr., Candace Owens, who gave eye-opening comments about Hitler, and of course the pro-insurrectionist himself, the man who tried to overthrow democracy, who yucks it up on the pod, the 44th president of the United States. Many are crying foul because this is yet another indication of Dana White's treacherous business practices. Some memed it, others were flat out ticked. Keep this in mind. Liverpool's Paddy Pimblett set the record straight after false reporting came in on his pay. In an interview with Barstool, Paddy said he was only guaranteed $12,000 to fight and put his life on the line, and that's just a show. If he won, he would receive an additional $12K or 9,000 pounds.
What the to get him more.
Mediaite reported Andre Fiallo made as low as $12,000 as part of their contract, yet White has no problem doing this.
no.
Munir Lazez received $19,000 for his performance at UFC Vegas 51. Another fighter, $19,500. Pat Sabatini, $19,000. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lest we forget, one female fighter had to start a GoFundMe to pay for training expenses. That is the Dana White model. This is what he thinks of his roster.
Holy. Holy.
Aljamain Sterling weighed in. Dope. My birthday is July 31st. Can't wait to see what Dana gets me. John Fitch wrote, he's giving away the money he stole from fighters. Dan Hardy said, retweet if you think Uncle Dana should give all of the UFC's top 15 ranked fighters $250,000 for their next birthday. Years ago, Jared Cannonier said in a post-fight interview he was broke and he had to fight. Once again, this is the Dana way.
Back to Tootsie's?
The YouTuber with White made more than the UFC's flyweight champion and his predecessor. This speaks volumes to how Dana feels about his fighters.
This is the problem, though, when you have such an imbalance of power, when you've got the funds being created by the people in the system who are physically courageous and powerful, but in this instance are powerless. There's a danger to this kind of dictatorship. I don't know that the audience cares, though, as long as they get their pound of meat every time UFC is showing fight.
In an antitrust lawsuit, the public learned the UFC had a target goal to maintain fighter pay at 17% of the revenue for years. As we have brought to you previously, this pales in comparison to other sports leagues, where rev shares are hovering around or are over 50%. In May, a new credit analysis from investor service company Moody's was released for UFC Holdings LLC. According to Moody's, the UFC's revenue for the first quarter of 2022 were over $1 billion in the last 12 months. The company is raking in dough. And as the profits go up, fighter pay just hasn't really gone up at a good enough rate. And that's what you're seeing with these figures. Another thing that I know the name is going to be like, huh? But Jake Paul rang the alarm on this. The UFC does not offer their fighters health care. That's another point of contention. It's something that badly needs to change. One former UFC fighter reacted to it by suggesting that the athletes on the roster finally band together to make something happen to give fighters a bigger share of the pie. Morning Combat's Luke Thomas wrote, one of the biggest victories the UFC has achieved is convincing a massive swath of fans that the people who are central to the very existence of the product, the fighters, are somehow the least responsible for the product's success. In that view, the fighters are akin to assembly line workers who are marginally relevant, which is why you see hostility to their entreaties for more money. Of course, this is absolutely the least accurate way to view it, but that it is prevalent seems incontestable.